On this episode of Two Below. News today like tooth decay, slowly rot your brain away. Man found naked in hog barn tells police, I just like pigs.
There's so much to this.
Underneath the surfaceless, worthless information lays. Open up your mind, let yourself unwind.
No, yeah, he's going for a full vagina chop suey maneuver.
He is.
I don't know what he's doing.
Maybe he thought there was roast beef on the menu. Two below we must go, feel the flow, it goes for days. Listen up or vandalize, don't need your eyes to hear this. Podcast elevated, educated, real shit.
He was making some bacon, if you know what I mean.
Like quicksand you'll sink and you'll blink and it's over. Two below we will go, so keep your damn composure. Two below we're on our way, delivering Synosia. Welcome back.
Welcome, everybody.
How you doing, Matt?
I'm not bad. How you doing, John?
Man, I cannot complain.
It's a great day.
A wonderful day.
It is. And we have some great stories.
I was just about to say
See,
that.
I knew it. I read your face. I saw it coming.
Yes, you stole my thunder.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
Why don't
you
you tell
did.
us? What kind of stories do we have coming?
So, over the last couple of days, there have been some amazing stories all related to food. Something we haven't really talked about at all in either of our first couple of episodes.
That's right.
Other than candies being eaten by monkey. But,
That's true.
so I thought that, hey, let's give a little love to the food industry.
I like it.
Talk about some food-related news.
Let's dive right in, man.
So, the very first story that I would like to talk about had one of the most incredible headlines that I've seen all week. Man found naked in hog barn tells police, I just like pigs.
There's so much to this. It's such a simple sentence, and yet everything about it's so wrong.
So, without even knowing anything about the story, give me your 10-second synopsis of what you think this is about.
Okay, well, let's see. The police obviously are involved. This guy's in a hog barn and he likes pigs, so he's gotta be a bacon fetishist, I think.
I think that is an angle that nobody has actually thought about yet.
What actually is going on here?
So when the police got there, they found this guy drunk, naked in the hog barn. This is in Millersville, Pennsylvania, by the way.
Okay.
On June 26th. And he just tells them point blank, I just like pigs.
And is this an older guy? Is this a young dude? Or
So he's 64 years old.
Okay.
I don't know if you here. Let me pull up this picture here. So he kind of looks like a sad Burt Reynolds,
he does.
like an old sad Burt Reynolds, who just has decided that, hey, you know what? I'm not going to hide from my true love
Pigs.
anymore.
This is like the alter universe Burt Reynolds.
Yes,
Is what this is. I guess the
Yeah.
pig loving alter universe.
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds.
So this guy, so not only was he found, drunk. So this dude's, he's 64 years old, by the way. And they found him with a 6-pack of Ham's beer.
Now, how do you get better than that?
Great is that? A 6-pack of Ham's beer. And they called it a pig party. It was a party. It actually says in the story this was a pig party.
How could it be anything else? With Ham's beer, do you think
Ham's beer.
What's the angle for Ham's beer?
Well, obviously the pigs told him, "Hey, dude, bring some Ham's beer."
Yeah, because this is a pig's party.
Either that, or he thought, I'm going to hang out with a bunch of pigs, so I better bring some Ham's beer to cover his bases.
It's just
He wasn't sure what they would like.
he just likes pigs, but you could just read into that so many different ways.
Do you think he crossed the line in this party?
I mean, yeah.
You think so? It doesn't say it in the story.
I mean, he was making some bacon, if you know what I mean. Yeah. I mean, the police were involved. Did this guy, did he go to jail? What happened to him?
Yeah, so they charged him with indecent exposure, of course, because he was naked.
Oh, yeah.
Criminal trespassing. And on that note, in 2011, so 6 years ago, he was banned from this same property for a trespassing incident. Now, the story doesn't give us the details of that incident, but I have a sneaking suspicion that it's pig related.
It's got to be. That's his wife is in there, and he's got to get back to his wife, I'm sure.
So you think they're married? You know what? I've heard of animal husbandry before, but I thought that was just...
I thought that was something completely different.
Yeah.
That was revolved around animals themselves, not the human-animal relationship.
Right. I didn't think it had anything to do with actual marriage.
So this guy makes me feel a lot better about myself, honestly.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I could see that.
I mean, I like pigs, and I've been drunk.
And
but,
you've never had the urge to just go to a pig farm.
Yeah, and have a pig party.
Beer.
Yeah. And, you know, the fallout is you pay $25,000 or something bail or whatever it was.
Do you think he was holding the beer up, feeding it to the pigs? Like,
yes,
pouring a little bit in their mouths?
He had a little crazy straw coming out of it. Like, hey, here
what do you think the name of his favorite pig was?
Bertrude.
Bertrude.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's different than Gertrude. It's Bertrude.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had to think of a pig name that he might be into,
right?
What would it be?
I don't know. Hammer?
Oh, Hammer's a sick pig name.
Right? It's kind of like Homer, but it's Hammer instead.
That's kind of like on the more badass side of pig names.
Right. Right. Yeah. He's got a big tattoo of a hammer.
You don't mess with Hammer.
No, he'll lay down the hammer.
Yeah, and you better have brought more than 6 of the Ham's beer.
Yeah.
This guy's a slammer.
So the dude's he got thrown in jail, public drunkenness as well. $25,000 unsecured bail. So $2,500 to get him out if it was 10%. He's due in court later this month, and my favorite line of this story is the very last line. The hogs were unavailable for comment.
Because, you know,
right.
We were all curious about that.
I can just see a reporter,
what the hogs?
You know, calling this guy up on the phone and saying, "Could you put your hog on the line?
Yeah, we got
I'd like
some
to get a
serious
statement."
questions.
Right.
Investigative journalism on its way.
He's like, they're unavailable.
Unavailable right now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Come again.
Anyway, so yeah, this was, I thought, a pretty hilarious story.
And it is.
So I wanted to share.
It is food related.
It is, absolutely.
It's right in the same vein.
You know, this is probably the best story to start with because this is food that actually hasn't been cooked yet.
That's a great point.
Right?
That's right.
So
it's
pre-cooked food. So we're starting at the early stages.
That's right.
He was probably massaging those pigs. He knew that that's where his favorite restaurant got its bacon from.
And he was just checking it out.
So, yeah, he was he wanted to make sure it was nice and tender. So he was just,
he's
massaging.
A quality analyst.
Right.
That's what he is.
He was just ensuring that he was going to have a better breakfast future.
Is he a bakelist?
A bakelist? Is that
could
what
that be a word? Like a bacon analyst?
A bakelist. A bacon analyst. That should be a new title.
Bacon analyst. Oh, bakelist.
Yeah.
A bacon analyst.
I'm going to send that to my HR department. And see
I bet they'd probably approve something like that. That's HR friendly.
Right. It is. Absolutely. It's not offensive.
No way.
All right. So let's talk about something else.
More food?
Yeah. Here,
why don't I hit you with a little something?
I would love that.
I'm thinking we may move up the gamut of the food spectrum to raw food.
Okay.
Let's talk about sushi.
Oh, perfect.
I love sushi. And also, I just want to note, there is a woman involved in this story.
Okay.
And I also love women.
I love women too.
So we're just hitting them out of the park right now. So
nice. 2 for 2.
Here's what this is. This is a sushi model. This is the headliner for this. Okay. A sushi model beats...
A sushi model?
A sushi model.
Okay.
And let me clarify that. There are certain restaurants you can eat at where a woman is scantily clad and has sushi laid upon her. And this is what people eat. They eat off them. There's a term for it. It's called nyotamori. I'm trying my best to say that. Nyotamori, which is the practice of eating sushi on a nearly naked woman. This originated in Japan. And the term itself means to serve food on the female body. So very specifically the female body, I guess.
I've heard of the practice. I'm not familiar with the term.
Okay, yeah. I've never heard the term. I'm familiar with the practice. I've never seen it in real life, like myself. So here's the headliner. A sushi model, the lady who has the sushi laid out upon her, she beats a male customer for assaulting her with chopsticks.
Beats the male customer. Like, got up and literally beat him up.
Gave him a good socking.
Okay.
And a good shove, it sounds. A punch and a shove.
But isn't I'm confused. Isn't she getting paid to have guys eat off of her with chopsticks?
Yes.
Like, so isn't it just assumed that the chopsticks may accidentally
touch something here and there?
I'm sure this was an accident, right?
She says, this model, she says she thought the first time it was an accident, but apparently one of the customers was getting very frisky with his chopsticks, and this caused her to jump up. Frisky.
I like the word.
So, and you know, it's down in the groin area for sure. So this guy's got to be just bitsing around with his chopsticks.
Now that I'm looking at this story, and the link will be in the show notes.
That's right.
I see this guy's chopsticks literally. It's like he's trying to pick up her clit.
Yeah, he's going for a full vagina chop suey maneuver. I don't know what he's doing.
Maybe he thought there was roast beef on the menu.
I can see why she's confused here. Look, she can't see. She's got like seaweed wrapped all over her face.
Right. She's just like feeling these chopsticks.
So I could see, okay, maybe someone made a mistake, got the chopsticks down there a little too low or whatever. But no, apparently this guy just went crazy.
Yeah,
he went super fresh or something.
He was looking for the clam for sure.
he found the mother pearl. So
yes, he did.
That was that. That was this story. It's a life in some of the Japanese restaurants you see.
Do you think she got fired?
I don't think so.
I would hope not.
I would never fire somebody for getting angry at.
No, you have to encourage people to protect themselves.
Absolutely.
And stand up for themselves.
And it sounds like she did the right thing. She said she let the first one go because she thought that had to have been a mistake. So
she probably was used to this behavior.
Yeah.
She's like, all right, somebody does something once, I'm going to let it slide.
Can you find this here in America?
Probably.
Oh, okay. I know what I'm looking for. I'd love to try that.
Little sushi for lunch next week.
Yeah, could be something else. So there it is. Poor girl. She had to defend herself. But something everybody should try is eating sushi off of another human being.
If you like sushi.
If you like sushi.
If you don't like sushi, maybe you could talk them into something. Maybe like sliders.
Yeah.
Buffalo wings.
I could try all sorts of things off of somebody else.
Buffalo wings would be awful messy.
But just as delicious.
Right.
There's no way they wouldn't be just as good.
You think they would serve them hot? Like piping hot buffalo wings just being spread across their stomach.
But they would have to have just the right kind of sauce on them. You know what I mean? Just burning, pipe like Scully, just screaming.
What would be the best sauce to eat on top of a sushi model? It would probably be A1, which actually leads me into our next story. So let's talk about some A1 steak sauce. What do you think?
I think that sounds great, man. I'm ready to be dazzled.
Well, in Avon Lake Public Library, I'm not sure where Avon Lake is, but in this library, somebody has been hiding empty A1 steak sauce bottles.
Empty A1 steak
Empty
sauce.
A1s. So no labels. They're clean. Labels taken off. The article mentions that looks like they had gone through the washing machine.
Okay.
Or the dishwasher.
And
right?
A1, these bottles, they're just the brown bottles.
Just the regular old, kind of tall, skinny brown bottles with a little faint hint of the smell, like if they open the top off. So
the perfume of
always
the A1.
hard to clean that entire inside of the bottle.
You can never get it all.
I know. You can never get this thing's completely clean. So they've found, get this, a total of 28 of these little 10-ounce bottles since they've found the very first one on January the 11th.
Of this year.
So since January 11th, somebody has decided, which makes me think this is probably like a New Year's resolution from somebody.
To just keep continuously put these.
Right. So they're still speculating on the reasons why, but 28 empty bottles just in random locations.
Just random spots in the library.
So it's actually driving traffic to this library. They say it's become something everyone's wanted to find. So people will come to this library and just start looking around for A1 bottles.
I'd like to know how much more traffic, because I imagine in my head libraries are kind of like dwindling. You can get all this information online these days.
Yes, very true.
I would totally go to a library to be part of this A1 challenge or whatever's going on here.
Right.
This would be really fun.
So on that note, one of the theories actually was that this may be an offshoot of geocaching, which is a game where people use satellite and global positioning systems to locate small hidden items. It's like a treasure hunt.
Right.
Like a big scavenger
Someone
hunt.
buries it and other people have their GPS and they go out and they find it.
They're giving GPS coordinates out and people and places become geolocations. So
I see.
This place actually, it was a geocache. There was a geocache on this library's grounds, but it only had a list of the people that had found it. So
Okay.
it was like a small seashell and a felt spider or something like that.
So not 21, 28.
Right, exactly.
81 bottles,
So they don't. So that was a theory that this could be geocaching, to your point, but they don't think that that's what it is.
Do they say anything about cameras?
Or no, actually.
So they don't have a way to spot somebody who might be like,
right. Public libraries don't have that much money, so probably having live cameras up and monitoring every corner of the library is
probably not concerned about books being stolen either.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine.
They can't afford that.
So, I mean, someone comes in to the library. I guess, what I'd really like to know, is it one bottle at a time?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think it didn't really specify, but that's the way it's written, is that it was kind of slowly over time that these bottles get randomly found. So, I guess however long it takes somebody to go through a whole bottle.
Okay, so like one steak.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe two
maybe two, yeah.
If you're feeling lucky.
Or just some French fries or something. I mean.
Yeah. So,
maybe it's a New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Someone's coming up. I just can't. You got to actively be wanting to do this. This is so strange to me. Is this almost like you can live on the edge, but within reason, such that the law won't be concerned with you?
It could be. I don't know. I think this might actually be done by somebody that works at the library, or maybe a patron who's decided that, hey, you know what? I want to try to drive some traffic to this library because people should be spending more time in libraries.
It's a beautiful library, so go check it out.
Right. Yeah. And so they, created this whole scheme of hiding bottles and creating this kind of buzz about this particular library just to get traffic going there. Most people that go, I bet you they end up picking up a book or a movie or something.
What if the library set all this up and it's all fake?
You know what?
How do we even know anymore?
I think that if that's the case, they should be put in control over all libraries to come up with plans to generate more traffic.
Because this is really interesting. Like,
it is.
I want to go to the library and check this out.
If this was happening at my public library, I would make it a point to go up there, once every couple of weeks and just walk around.
See if I get me one of them A1 bottles.
Maybe I get an A1 bottle.
Yeah.
Get a nice little selfie. I mean, Instagram it.
The sad thing is that this might be what this library becomes popular for and known for the foreseeable future.
Would they change the name of it to the empty A1 bottle library?
I don't know. That'd be cool, man.
It has a nice ring
to it. Yeah, it's different.
So I think that the librarian who was interviewed for this article said that she was really disappointed because she has not yet found a bottle herself.
I mean, it's got to be a competition at that point between everybody. Like, you're all getting A1 bottles.
I bet she's the one putting them out.
Yeah. See, she's the catalyst. She's the one starting all this.
She is absolutely the one doing this.
And if you look at the article, you can just see that shit-eating grin on her face. She's in on something.
Right. She said they tried mapping out the locations of the first 12, like creating a drawing of the library and putting little push pins and taking some yarn, like
that's
CSI,
like CSI all over the place.
Yes,
wow.
Trying to draw a connection. Maybe it drew some kind of picture that would give them a clue.
Any leads on that?
No.
I like that they did that, though.
Nothing.
That's cool.
They were really thinking.
They were really, that's outside the box.
People that would run the library, they're pretty smart.
Librarians, they've got all this knowledge up in the nog, man.
Absolutely.
Got to tap into it.
They said, we're all playing detective. Quote, we're all playing detective.
Oh, well, you got to find the A1 bottles somehow.
Maybe all of her employees were so bored that they were losing interest.
And she
just created this as a way to kind of like give them something to talk about, maybe build and bond with the people that work there.
Yeah, I mean, you got to spark something.
Yeah.
You got to get some inter-employee interest going on.
In any case, it's really brilliant tactic.
It is. And now they've got a great collection of A1 steak sauce bottles.
Now, one person offered up that dragon magic might be responsible, while another person suggested that the library reach out to its stakeholders.
Wow. Okay, Dad, you could see yourself to the door now.
Oh yeah, that's a total dad joke.
Yeah, it's our stakeholders. Jeez.
Yeah. Anyway, so they say any theory is as good as the other, which to me makes this all sound like just a publicity stunt to generate some traffic to the library. But
if it's ever solved, you can guarantee that we'll be here to tell you about it.
And any good excuse to talk about libraries and public libraries, hey, why not?
Absolutely. Bring it to the surface.
Yes. Go read a book, everybody. Go to your library. Check something out.
That's right. I like it, John. This is good stuff.
All right, so when I think libraries, I think wordness. To the nerdness segment. What do you think?
Oh, I think that sounds excellent.
Here we go. Laser beams and bumblebees, science and technology. Is evolution blasphemy? It's wordness to the nerdness. Wordness to the nerdness.
Virtual reality. What do you think about that?
I am a huge fan of virtual reality, although I haven't purchased any of the new virtual reality sets.
The Oculus or the Vive.
I think about it all the time.
I bought a Vive.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
3 or 4 months ago, actually,
Okay.
I got a Vive. And it's total game changer. It's amazing. And that's, I think, why I'm so interested in this article.
So what is this article?
So what this is, it's scientists have found a way to reduce fear of death by using virtual reality to induce an out-of-body experience.
Really?
It's a mouthful, but let me see if I can get the gist of it here. Essentially, what they're using for this test, by the way, is the Oculus Rift. So,
Okay, very familiar.
so what you do is they put you in just an environment, maybe a room or something, and you're put into a first-person view where if you look around in the virtual environment, you know, when you're wearing the mask or whatnot, if you can see your arms and the legs that they are representing to be you in this virtual environment. And they may make them a different color or gender or any of the numerous combinations that can make up a human. Essentially what they're doing is they are making it so you are not you in this virtual reality environment.
So amazing.
It is. And the big thing here, this is called full body ownership illusion. Once you
Okay.
get used to this in the first person, they then take you back to third person, where all of a sudden your brain is just on a whole nother level because now you think you're this person. And in virtual reality, I don't know if you've ever experienced it with these newer systems, but your brain is so easily tricked into believing this stuff. It's just mind-blowing.
Interesting.
And the cool thing about the test is that the whole point was to reduce levels of fear in users by giving them this weird full body ownership experience. And they had a control group. So the first group was 16 women, and they had their VR headsets on, and they gave them this experience or whatever. And then they had 16 other women who also had VR headsets on, but they did not do this switching first person, third person thing.
Okay, and so just so that I have this right, the first person, they go into it, they kind of look down and they see their arms or their legs, or
Right.
they look like they're looking at their own body.
Right. If you were to
Okay.
look down right now at yourself, you would see, maybe part of your chest, part
Right.
of your arms. That's what they would see with the VR helmet on too.
So how do they know when they're ready to transition to the third person?
But they didn't really mention anything about
Okay,
that.
so they
It's
just kind of leave them in there for a period of time and probably run them through a series of, hey, do this.
yeah,
Go there.
look around, get used to
right,
this while
okay.
doing this motion, and
Okay.
and then they take you back a step.
Okay,
and
interesting.
They say,
So then
"Here's."
it's like then you
Yeah.
the third person view.
I mean,
see
I
your
imagine
own
like
self.
in yourself right now. Imagine just having a camera looking down at you,
Right. Yeah.
and how weird that would be. And that's these people with virtual reality.
Right.
So it does work. This has only been one study.
Okay.
And the whole purpose was to reduce your fear of death.
Right.
And it did work. The women who had this out-of-body experience, they had a reduced fear of death. And the control group who didn't experience this, they did not have a reduction.
So this is kind of groundbreaking in terms of how to treat people with certain types of disorders in a relatively safe
Yeah.
and controlled environment.
Right, because you can essentially put them somewhere else, and they're left to experience it, and their brain thinks
Right.
they're experiencing it.
Like
and-
you're afraid of heights,
which I am,
right?
and that's a great one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is fantastic. So I wonder what does the article mention any plans for future experiments or anything else that they're working on?
They do. They say they have a more sophisticated study,
Okay.
which has been completed, but they don't mention anything about it, and they say it'll be a few months before that will come out. And they also mentioned that, this is, again, just a single study. So, with most scientific things, you want to back it up and try other sources, confirm.
Now, I remember a long time ago, you got the original Oculus Rift, the developer kit,
Yeah,
right?
the DK1.
Yes.
I think I got that like the first 2 weeks it came out or something.
So my only experience with virtual reality was the time you loaned that to me.
Oh, wow.
So that's the extent of my personal exposure to virtual reality technology.
You're in for a trip, man. You are in for a trip.
Okay.
Wow. I'll have to bring that up or something sometime.
I almost picked up I have the PlayStation 4.
Oh yeah.
So I almost picked up the
PSVR, which I've heard great things about.
$300 or something like that.
It's a little expensive.
Yeah.
But I would say if you're going to get VR, go for something that has the room scale technology.
Okay.
Because that is, to me, that's the game changer.
Does that one have it?
The PSVR, I don't think PSVR has room scale, but it makes it where you can walk around your room.
Right. And you have to buy these little handheld, like weird looking ball things. I'm not sure what that's all about.
I think that's the right term for it.
Ball
looking things.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Oculus has a certain term for them, and
Okay.
the Vive, I forget what the Vive calls them. You'd think I'd know because I have the Vive, but the systems come with everything you need. So,
Okay.
it's kind of a cool deal. It's it's like $700 or something for one of these. But
Is it a self-contained unit? Can you hook it up to any display or anything like that? Or is it just the helmet? You have to have a computer?
you have to have a very powerful computer.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean you can run VR with weaker machines, but you're going to have a vomit-inducing experience.
Okay.
Because you need to have 90 frames per second in the left eye and the right eye. And if any of those get out of sync, if your machine cannot keep a game running essentially twice at 90 FPS,
Okay.
Your brain's going to get thrown for a loop, man.
So do you think like a 970,
GTX 970?
do you think that would handle it?
Yeah, a lot of stuff, yes. I can
Okay.
tell you that I have a GTX 1080.
Okay.
And that coupled with an i7 that's overclocked to 4 gigahertz,
Okay.
still is not enough.
Oh, wow.
I can only run some things on medium.
Yeah, I have an i7. It's not overclocked, but
So you've got the machine. You could be kicking some VR, man.
nice.
That first time you experience a roller coaster in high def, oh man, kiss your stomach goodbye.
Really?
Yeah, I tripped out. I really tripped out.
Interesting.
And
How do you think? I think there's a really humane reach for this kind of technology for folks who may have lost ability to walk or see, or no. I mean, I guess see isn't a good example here.
have you heard of this little
Foot,
technology?
meat, mouth. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, people who
you've lost a limb.
certain parts in life you can no longer do.
Right. Exactly.
You could experience these with virtual reality.
People that are aging who can potentially experience.
Hop into VR and go do some parkour as an 85-year-old and
Right.
live life because you'll get those stomach drops. I mean, your brain,
Interesting.
I think it's there. So,
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's very cool. So VR, that's wordness to the nerdness.
Man, what a great story.
Great story.
I don't know if I can follow that up, but
I hope you can. Hopefully something.
I'll give it a shot. So I want to talk about. There is an article about this, and we'll link it in the show notes. But it's really more just talk about a particular application that's out there, and the application that I'm talking about is Binky.
Mobile application?
It is a mobile application.
Okay.
And Binky is basically a fake version of a typical social media app.
So it's an application, but anything you do in there is not real?
Correct.
Okay.
So think
Okay.
about what you do with Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or any of these social media classified applications. You can swipe left if it's an article that you don't like, swipe right, if you like it or whatever. I may have that backwards. I don't know. I've never used those apps. You can comment on things.
Yeah.
You can create posts so you can share your thoughts on that site. Or on that app. It's called a Bink.
They call it a bink.
They call it a bink.
Like when you do something
Yes. And you can rebink.
Wow.
So if you see a bink that you like, you can rebink it.
What if you want to talk about it in the past? Is it like, did you bank?
Man.
I banked last week.
Or if you're thinking ahead in your social media adventures, you're banking your binks.
Oh man, that just threw me for a major loop. I can't even work that one out in my head, man.
So think about this. Every piece of content on this app is generated randomly, doesn't even exist. It's not real. Anything you do to interact with it just goes into space. It's not saved. There is no consequence and there is no reality behind this application other than giving the end user that physical experience of interacting with the social media application.
You know, in a way, when you're describing this, it makes me think of like young kids who have their invisible friend, and it's like their way of interacting with the world, and it's satisfying for them. Is this a popular application?
You know, the article doesn't really say how popular it is, but I think it's got a little bit of momentum.
I could see people getting behind this. Strangely enough, I could see that.
There's a lot of potential uses for this kind of app. And one of the claims that they make is that it's not just as satisfying as interacting with Twitter. You know, you feel the compulsion to check your email, right? Same thing, you know, you got to check your Twitter or whatever. There's people that are just totally addicted to these things. They say that this is even more satisfying
than normal things they're addicted to?
Yes.
Wow.
And so, and their logic behind making that statement is that it's not the content that really matters to the individual. It's the experience of interacting with and feeling like you are expressing yourself through this social media platform.
That is different.
And this provides you a chance to do it without the negative consequences of, you know, I wish I didn't make that post and like call my Aunt Margaret a bitch.
So I wonder if everything is. I mean, I got to do that with Aunt Margaret, by the way. But is this?
I'm sorry, Aunt Margaret.
Please forgive us. Gosh. Oh, now I've totally forgotten. Aunt Margaret has derailed me on this one.
Aunt Margaret doesn't really exist.
Oh, it was. I was thinking of the mood of the text in Binky. Is it always positive? Do they mention anything about that? Like,
you know, they don't say, but they do say it's random. So I would think that it's not, because they also do say with the things like swipe left and swipe right, if you like something or don't like something,
right,
makes me think that there's probably a variety of content that, you know, you may like or may not like.
And it's all, I just can't get over that it's random and that people interact and they work with it. Do they even read the randomness that comes back, or is it more just the motion of...
I don't know. That would be interesting to know if they're actually capturing this data. Like the creators of the app are saving it, but they're just not like using that to populate exactly. One of the individuals in this article says that the comments are their favorite part of this, because when you start to type in a comment on this app, it reveals a whole word in a pre-prepared comment. So you don't even have to type your entire comment or response. You just type a letter,
hit the word,
and it starts to generate random comments and random words based on.
Say you could just let it do the autofill.
That's exactly right. But they've generated the logic around this so that it kind of makes sense. Like the example they gave in the article was, "This looks amazing." # Harlem Shake, # whatever. And so it actually does the hashtags, and it'll throw random hashtags. Then at the end of it, it starts throwing in random emojis, and it just keeps doing it until you hit send to stop the comment.
Here comes your emoji train. Get ready. I like that it does the hashtags.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
I mean, it really gives the full gamut of social media interaction, of comments, like tweets, so it's hashtagging, emojis, swiping left and right, and looking at articles.
Yeah, it's legit. I mean, they added everything in, so
right,
you would feel like this is the full experience.
I wonder how long you have to be on it before you start seeing the same stuff again.
That's the real question. What sort of patterns are they using?
Right. Do they have like some type of advanced algorithm that truly can generate random content? Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, it's infinite, right?
Yeah,
almost.
You'll never find patterns. Or if you do, it'll be a pattern that's random with a bit of time or something that you
or if
encounter.
They're reading like headlines from like news feeds from various sources and then taking that to generate randomized fake,
I could see that.
Fake news.
Mm-hmm. Taking some snippets and things, but mixing it to create their own magic mix, so to speak.
So yeah, I thought this was pretty cool.
This is I kind of want to look into this just to try it.
It's not quite as cool as VR. I mean,
But
but I thought this was just a very different way of talking about how people are addicted to social media, and that it's not
it's
the people and the actual folks that they're interacting with. It's the interaction itself, the physical. Hey, I got to tap, swipe, and like it's become this
it's like the
behavioral pattern.
And I wonder if it calms them, makes them feel better. Like if they have ADHD or something or ADD, could they pop into this and
Right.
Hey,
a lot of people get anxiety with their social media.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, how many people man, what did so-and-so post today?
Oh, yeah.
They're seeing friends of theirs, or family members post things that just they completely disagree with. And then
you just get all...
How many people did you hear about losing friendships and having fights with family over, stupid political arguments that
infinite
are so not as important as good family and friend relationships?
Yeah, it's infinite, man.
So anyway, Binky app, give it a shot.
Check it out. Did we know what operating system did they say? Is it Android, iOS, or?
If they did say in the article, I didn't catch it. But again, I will definitely link this in the show notes. And
okay,
if I find out, I'll put a comment in there.
Cool.
But Binky. So a little VR, a little Binky. What else do we have to talk about in today's wordness to the nerdness?
I don't know. How about Robocop?
Oh man,
did you expect me to say that?
I was not expecting Robocop.
Robocop, along with Dubai, of course.
Okay,
so that kind of makes sense because Dubai is always like the place you hear about when tallest buildings, craziest looking tech coming out and stuff.
Very, very true. There's a lot of money in Dubai.
There is, and I'd love to go there sometime. It's neither here nor there. Let's talk about Robocop.
Okay.
So what's going on? This is kind of cool. This is honestly not a very in-depth article, but the point is that Dubai, the police force in Dubai, is working to roboticize part of their patrol force. And their patrol force, think about the people who do like parking tickets, or they they're out in the streets monitoring traffic and helping pedestrians.
Just the ones that are trying to make sure there's nothing crazy going on.
Right, just your day-to-day, they're out in the streets. And
Deterrence,
right. That's kind of what this is supposed to help replace, is take the human factor out of it, add the robot factor into it. And this robot looks ugly as sin. Again, we'll have a link to this in the show notes. But
I
pull this up. It looks like...
First thing I thought about when I saw this robot was the maid robot in the Jetsons.
Oh, in the Jetsons.
Yes.
Oh,
Rosie. I think her name was Rosie.
That was her, because she has that vacuum cleaner bottom.
That's exactly right. It looks like she's like a big vacuum.
Rosie.
Put a police hat on Rosie
and
give her a paint job
but with a big, nice. Did Rosie have the screen on the chest?
Oh man, I can't remember.
I don't think she did.
I don't think she did either. I think it was just metal.
So this robot has a screen on his chest.
Right.
The special thing about this is that it's supposed to be able to have facial recognition.
Okay.
And to be able to sort of catch criminals or to detect criminals and to alert the proper authorities.
So if you're looking for, a wanted criminal, this guy, just like having a street camera.
Yeah, they work 24/7. And they were saying some of the nice things about this is people seem less shy to talk to the robot police. I guess they've already rolled out some of these maybe as prototypes or something.
Well, you take the human element out of the police, and
unless
you probably trust computers to be a little bit more predictable in their responses.
Unless they've hard-coded some corruption in there or something to just really...
Which, who knows?
Wouldn't surprise me. But, so the Dubai, the cool thing was the Dubai police force hopes to roll out 25% or replace 25% of their patrolling workforce by 2030 with these robots.
So is this robot armed in any way?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not. I don't think we're quite at that level of fear yet. I would never go to any place that would have a robot that actually could shoot a weapon.
Right. I mean, I could see maybe give it like a little cattle prod or,
wow,
maybe some...
He's just get out of here, kids.
Yeah, exactly.
50,000 volts. Okay, I could see something like that. But yeah, no weapons. And like you said, it looks like some weird merge from Jetsons.
I wonder how many phrases or what its level of vocal interaction is. If it's like Siri, which absolutely sucks.
Yeah.
Or, if it's something a little bit more advanced.
They don't say anything. I like to think that it just says "sup human" or something like that. "Sup human," as he's gauging you, looking into your inner life. And
if it's like Siri, it's always like, well, let me look that up for you.
Oh yeah, hold on, let me just open up Google real quick and search for you. Thanks. That defeats the purpose.
Yes.
So this is fun stuff. We've talked about tech and potential Skynet coming upbringings before.
Yep.
I feel like this goes right in line.
It's going to happen one of these days.
No, it is. You know it.
I mean, there's just really no doubt about it.
The human factor is going to be moved out of the equation.
Right.
Like just more and more as we move forward.
So I'm going to catch you off guard here. And on that note, talk about another story that neither one of us have actually prepped for. So,
okay. These are some of my favorites.
Let me throw you a little curveball.
Okay.
So there was an article that I read recently about how we've changed our thinking from using Moore's Law to push innovation at the kind of microchip level of technology. So over Moore's Law basically was, hey, we got to get smaller and faster and smaller and faster, and that every set period of time we would decrease in size by half. And so they've changed that thinking now to push innovation towards parallelism. And it's how many parallel operations can we operate now? And that change and that shift in thinking and direction and how we innovate at that level is what's going to enable like deep thinking and the deep AI stuff, not the typical AI that they're doing now.
But
and
this
so
parallel.
Right. So we've gotten things as small as we need to get them. Now where we're going to make the next breakthroughs is in these parallel operations, which are going to allow for this really complex operations that will mimic a neural network in a human brain.
That makes sense because it's only so small that we can go. And
I mean, the thing that makes humans so complex is how many things our brain can think about and do and process simultaneously.
Right, which is so hard to.
It's amazing how much we're doing in parallel as a human.
Yeah, and we don't even think about it.
Right.
On any
just
given
totally
moment.
Natural.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're juggling 20 different thoughts. You might not even know it.
Right.
It's nothing.
And so, just kind of for the Robocop, this is the start of it. And as they get deeper into AI, we're going to see these Robocops evolve and start to
scary.
become, self-learning machines.
That's the next, I think, the evolutionary step is self-learning.
Yes.
That's when I think you really have to watch out. Really, really.
All it takes is one pissed off programmer.
Oh, yeah.
To fuck everybody.
I'm going to give this guy, he's going to be jacked.
Yes.
So
anyway.
This is great. I like that. It definitely goes in play with the robots and technology and parallel. Does that have anything or any relation with quantum computing?
It probably does.
I just don't know anything about quantum computing other than the word.
Yeah, I don't either. And some of the things that they were talking about in that article were new to me and kind of went over my head. But
yeah,
the kind of the main gist of it was just a shift in thinking of, how we're going to break through is not how small we can get it now. It's how much can we do at the same time.
I wonder when that shift happened. When it's almost like a paradigm shift. Like when did we change our thinking?
Right.
Just recently, I imagine.
Yes.
Last few years, probably.
So, man, this is definitely wordness to the nerdness talk.
This is, and it's just going to keep getting crazier and better from here as AI takes over.
Yes.
Crazier gadgets come out. They'll all be on here.
Yep, absolutely. So that's all we have for today's episode.
Thanks for stopping by.
And until next time. Thanks for listening to the Two Below podcast. You can find us on iTunes, on Google Music, or in your favorite podcast app. If you like what you heard, leave us a review, give us some stars, hit that subscribe button.
You can find us on Twitter at Two Below Podcast.
Or on Facebook at facebook.com/Two Below Podcast. And that's TWOBELOW Podcast.
News today like tooth decay, slowly rot your brain away. Underneath the surface, less worthless information lays. Open up your mind, let yourself unwind. Two below we must go, feel the flow, it goes for days. Listen up or vandalize, don't need your eyes to hear this. Podcast elevated, educated, real shit. Like quicksand you'll sink and you'll blink and it's over. Two below we will go, so keep your damn composure. Two below we're on our way, delivering Synosia.